Hi, Kathy. Hi, Lexi.
Hello.
Let's see if I can share.
That'd be a good test.
Yes. All right. So 43 people today.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Hi, everyone. We'll give it a few minutes before we get started. Man, it is cold in Michigan right now.
It is.
One of those very blustery days. Hi, everyone. We're going to wait to give people time to join, and we'll probably start in 2 minutes. Scott, should we get going or wait another couple?
Yeah, I think we can go ahead and get going.
All right. Well, welcome everyone to this event hosted by me and Scott. We are the co-leads for the Michigan chapter of our Workfront user groups. So thanks for joining those in the Michigan chapter and those outside. So just to introduce myself, Scott is actually also our presenter today, but I'll kick us off. So I work for Steelcase in West Michigan, and I am one of the system admins for Workfront. Couple housekeeping things before I turn it over to Scott. So this user group meeting is being recorded. And then go to the next. And then some rules for our user groups. Again, if this is your first Adobe user group that you're attending, welcome. Some rules for user groups: no self-promotion or pitching at these events. Please don't contact people outside of the user group without their consent. And again, this is a safe space to share use cases and ask questions. So if user group members share use cases at this meeting, please don't share that information without their consent. And I think that's the last one. And with that, I'll hand it over to Scott.
Yep. Perfect. Thanks, Lexi. So thanks for joining. This topic is near and dear to my heart and exciting. I've had the pleasure of working with the Adobe engineers on the second part of this program. So the first part that we're going to show you came out of Adobe and through some betas and stuff. But the fill-in form, we were very influential in our company and launched that program. So we're excited. It's working great for us, and we're really enjoying it. So what we're going to cover today is, what do you need for AI? So I think that's some of the issues that some folks have experienced, at least that I've been hearing, is like, how do I get the AI? Well, there's some requirements that you have to go through in order to be able to use the AI. We'll go through the project help setup, because there is some setup in order to use AI and the project health. Then we'll talk a little bit about some use cases. I'll give you some examples of how we use it in our company. And then the AI fill-in form, which is the fun part of the presentation. So feel free to ask questions as we go along, or put them in the chat, and Lexi can help monitor that and watch for us. All right, so to get started, to be able to use AI or the project health portion of the system, you have to have migrated to the IMS with Adobe. You have to have the Select Prime or Ultimate package, and then the unified experience has to be enabled. So those are some system topics that you'll have to address with your account team in order to be able to use AI. But the last one is where most of the contention happens, is you have to agree to the Adobe Gen AI agreement, and it has to be on file with Adobe before they'll turn the features on within the system. So these four things have to be met before you can even have AI turned on or enabled in your environment. Once it's enabled, then you can go into system or setup, system, and preferences. So here in the menu, it's a little blurry, but the system, and then under preferences, and then when you scroll down, you'll see AI. And so you're able to click on what you want active, so you can enable everything. You can turn off fill-in forms. You can turn off intelligent autocomplete, which we'll cover, project health. So you can turn things on and off from your system setup under preferences for the AI tool. And then there's also the ability, which we won't cover in here, but further into the interfaces that you can do it by groups, so that if you want some folks to have it or some folks not to have it. So I see a question here: is an extra cost to enable this? The AI, there's no cost for the AI. It's all based on the package. So AI comes based on those three packages that I mentioned earlier: the Ultimate, Select, and what's the other one? Prime. So they come within those packages. But yeah, for once, it's not an additional cost to have something special. um, so let's check out. So that's the setup. So we'll go into a little bit more on the project health setup here in a second. So what is it? So it's an assessment of the project's overall condition, and it looks and categorizes things as on target, at risk, or in trouble. And it's based on project components. So I put a little note here in the bottom that project health is different because what project health is doing is it's giving risk scores based on components that you've selected, where project condition is just a snapshot only based on the planned, projected, or estimated dates. So that's the big difference between the project health and the project condition, to understand how it's working as it's calculating items within the project health AI. So again, there is some setup that's required. So if you go into your projects area under setup, uh, and in the project preferences, you'll see a project health if it's enabled. So again, back in the setup, you have to enable project health, and then project health will be available. All the project, when you turn it on, all the projects go to this default configuration. Even if it's not, it will go to this default. If it's not assigned, which I'll show you in a second, it will go to this default configuration. But you can do all kinds of different configurations based on what you want project health to tell you. Early on, if some of you were in the beta of project health, it was pretty constrained on what you can do. It was only looking at scope, cost, and schedule, and that was it. Then we gave a lot of feedback on, hey, there's other aspects of project health that could be beneficial. Like in our company, we're not marketing; we use it for manufacturing. So some of the like scope wasn't important to us, and then cost, we don't keep cost in Workfront. All of our cost is in our ERP system. So all we were getting is schedule. So it wasn't really valuable to us. So that was some of the feedback that our company gave, which led to some of these changes. So when you open up the AI configurator under Project Health, these are all the options that you get to choose from. So you can, what would you like to include in the health? And these little icons here to kind of give you a little bit of explanation of what everything is within the AI. So for example, we've turned off cost because again, we don't load cost into Workfront. So ours is turned off. It wants to understand, when does your project officially start? So there's some drop downs in there that you can take a look at. And then how do you want it to estimate scope? And there's some options there. But the cool part about this whole thing that's really made it valuable is the additional fields down below. When you select on this, it looks at a myriad of fields within the system, as well as your custom fields. And we're going to see some of this here in a second when I go through the demo on the custom field, how the custom fields behave versus the standard fields within Workfront. Now you have to be careful with these custom fields, do some trial and error because it could give you um, some results that aren't necessarily true, so to speak. Because remember, it's calculating based on risk. So if it's a field that doesn't make sense from a risk standpoint, the AI could give you some hallucinations and make you think that your project's performing better or worse than it really is based on that selection. So even though Adobe has given us the world that we asked for in this section, not everything's applicable in Project Health, and you just have to play with it. Like for example, if you used text fields only, it's just going to tell you, and I have an example of this. It's just going to tell you if the field's filled out or not. So it's not really going to tell you much from that area, from that respect. But for us in our business, if that field's filling or not is important. So it's giving us what we want. It's just not going to summarize what's in that field, for example. So this is the setup that needs to be done in the setup area, again, under Project Health. And when you open up one of these areas here for new configuration or edit, this is the screen that you get. Once that's done, now you have to go into Workfront and tell the projects what type of project health configuration do you want. So as we saw back here, we have 4 to choose from. So each project can have one of these four. And project within a program can be different. Now, I caution you on that because when you start using AI on a program level, you might get some quirky things. We do it all the same within the program. So every project within the program has the same project health setup. So going back to that again, so in the project settings, so you're going to see this when you click on the three dots next to the project name, and I'll show you this in a second. That's where you get this. It's not in the project overview, which is a lot of mistakes people make as they're trying to find it in the project overview, and it's not there. It's in the project settings. But you'll have this box that says project health configuration. And when you click on the drop down, it shows you all the options that you have. Now this says three because when I did the slides, I was playing around and added a fourth one. So all four should show up here, but I didn't go back and fix the slide. But these are the three. So if we slide back just a second, so here are the three. So this one got added up here on top. So these are the three that when I did the slides that are showing right here. So you can choose the AI project health that you want from that standpoint. Now, it's good that you have all the setups, but you also have to learn how to ask the question. So if any of you use AI, prompting is a big deal. So you really have to ask the AI the right questions to get what you want. And so there's a little table here, and this I took right out of Experience League. So if you want to go look under Project Health AI, you'll see this chart as well. Because the AI will work at different levels based on where you're at in the screens. So if you're on a specific project details page, you can just simply ask it, what's the health of this project? And it will tell you. If you're at any page in the Workfront, want to know the health of a project, you can actually say, what's the health of the project, and then give the name, and we'll do it right from that screen without having to be in that project. You can also just do an overall, what's the health of my projects, and we'll go through and look at you as an owner. And then you can do it on a program level. So in a program, if you're sitting on a program page, you can say, what's the health of this program? And then same thing anywhere, you can ask, what's the health of the program name? There's a question about setting up on a template level. That's actually a good question. I haven't looked at that. I'll get back to you on that answer. So that's a good question. So let's take a look at project health. So let me share my other screen here. Okay, so within a project, so this is a project, a program, and we have several projects within the program. If you want to update the project health, you can do it globally. So we hit the three dots up here by the project name. Oops, why didn't that work? Oh, sorry, I got to hit the edit button. It's the edit button. I was on a program level. Then we go to, so for us, we changed the name of projects to cost units. So cost projects are the same. And right here we have the default configuration set. And these are all the things that we have set up within our system. So I'm going to leave it at that so we can take a look at what the is. So then we come over here and we'll say, what is the project, or what is the health, sorry, of this program. So it's going to go through and it's going to go, because we have it set as the default, we're going to get a set of answers based on the default. So here it's saying that these 12 projects are all on target, and that's based on how we set the default. Then you can open it up, and then AI will actually go through and give you more details on each project. When you just click on the AI button, then it's going to show the health of that very specific project. So here we have, so again, we don't have descriptions in our tasks. So this default one doesn't really work well for us because it's not giving us really good information. So let's go in again and change to something that does make sense to us. And we're going to look at task status. Now, this purple box is telling you that you're making changes on more than one project. It's just kind of giving you a little color indication that you're doing that. So let's ask the same question again. So you're all watching me, so I can't type. So now we have same on target, but when we go into this and we look a little bit better, so we'll look at the same project, it's going to give me a little bit different information than what we had before, and we can compare the two. So now I have 60 tasks are complete, 63 should have been complete, and 6 project changes have been made. And then this will tell you all the dates in which the project end date has changed. So compared to, so this was our task status compared to up here when we looked at it. Oh, where'd it go? I gotta hit it again, I think. So up here, oh no, here it is. It gave us different information. It said 71 tasks were missing descriptions, 60 tasks are complete, 63 should have been, 4 project completion date changes have been made. So what we did is we turned this off because it didn't matter to us, the project description. So let's jump to a different one. So this is a different thing. So for us, we do all of our health and safety is also in the system. And so for this, the project tasks don't matter to us. What we want to know is there a corrective action that's put into place? So if we just look at this real quick here, and we look at, oops, I'm in the wrong spot again, because I'm on a project level, so I have to go up here. We have it set as this corrective and preventive action health setting, because that's what's important for us. So when we run the AI, so I've already run this already, we can see that 13 tasks are missing a corrective action. So from us, when we're looking at how our teams are responding to health and safety issues, we want to know that the corrective actions have been done. And so then we can open this up and it's going to tell us all the issues that a corrective action hasn't been done yet. Now, granted, some of these might not have been. There still may be some investigation going on and things like that. So by changing the project health and looking at a custom field, which for us, the custom field is this corrective action field, we can actually start to get some data out of the project health to help us understand how that project is performing. So here we're on a project level. Again, remember cost unit for us is project. We're back here, we are on a program level, and we can drill down into the project. So again, a high level view of project health. It's a little rigid, but there is some flexibility with it that you can use to look at how your projects or programs are performing. Okay, so let's move on to the next fun one.
Hey, Scott, are we saving questions for the end, or
No,
do
go
you
ahead
want
and
us?
ask. No,
Oh,
go
okay.
ahead.
Sorry if I'm not following, but high level with the project health, it sounds like you're having to set up different configurations of the different types of, I guess, what project health is, and then on almost like a multiple object or project level, you are directing the AI assistant to one of those configurations to what it should evaluate to deem what is project health. Am I tracking or am I way
That's
off?
correct. That's correct.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're just going to go with the default. Um,
Okay. And
whatever
so
the default is for, or the default that was set up when Project
mhm.
Health was launched.
So the assistant, you can't just be like evaluate. So when you say project health, you have to define what health means to you through the different configurations. Project health could be because it's subjective, right? It could mean how complete is this project? like how well did my project managers fill out this project? Or it could be project health in the sense of, is this project on time? And in that case, it would point to how many tasks have been completed on time, or like a task status.
Yeah, it's what it means to you, and just
Yeah,
remember that the project health is set up so that your teams are getting the same information. So
got
the
it.
AI is going, you can ask the AI several different questions about your projects anyway, like how many tasks have I completed? What have I done
Hmm.
here? And it will give you answers based on either your user or the project that you're on. But the person sitting right next to that person could do the same question, but based on their rights, they may get something different because maybe they're only on 3 tasks in a project, or maybe they're not even on that project, and they could get something different. What Project Health is doing is giving a standard. So when you say what's the project health, everyone is getting the same analysis done by the system.
I see. Because the notion of project health could be very subjective from person to person. So you're setting these
Correct.
different standards. Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
Correct. That is correct. It helps get everyone on the same page on what project health means. And in the setup, let me go back to the screen here. So if we flip back to the setup here, you can also have many different. So there's this add button. I only have two showing here, but you could have 4 or 5. So you you can take a lot of different attributes of a project and select them to be done on project health. But I also caution you that then the AI can come back with some very long novels about your project if you have too many. But depending on how your company runs, you may need maybe 5 or 6 different things to say this is what project health means to us. So you don't necessarily have to only select 2 and then have 20 different project health configurations. So keep that in mind too.
Oh.
You can work it many different ways. I just caution
So
you.
each of those consists of a different configuration of fields. So the evangelism team, for example, could consist of like its own config, and then AI configuration is its own setup, right? With certain fields selected, basically what that AI configuration is interested in.
That is correct. Yeah. So
Okay,
let me.
cool.
Yeah, I can show you ours real quick. There's nothing secret in here. Um, so oops, wrong one again. The sharing thing sometimes is a challenge, right? Here we go. Okay. So here, this is that health Kappa Health one I was showing you. So when we open it up and we look down, so now we've taken off task burn down and cost, and then we have corrective actions and plan completion for this specific one. So if we were to go back um, and look at a different one, so the other one we looked at was task status for the program. So if we look at that, here we took off scope, creep, required fields, and cost, but I don't have any custom fields in this one. I'm letting all the native um, workfront fields run, but I changed. Now I'm looking at the default baseline plan as opposed. That's when my project starts is based off the baseline and not when the project actually started because we look and see if our projects start when they're supposed to from a baseline standpoint. So this is a little bit different. So that's how the configurations work. If you have projects under the same program with different health configured, what happens if the AI assistant shows you health of the that's a good question. I haven't run that one before, so I'm not sure on that question. So I can play with it a little bit and get back to you after this. Good question. Okay, so let's go back. So any other questions on Project Health? No? Okay. Let's go into the fun one then. Fill in forms. So fill in forms are only for requests. So in requests, so we had an issue where we had a form that everyone was filling out, and it was always one section of it was always the same data. And there's like, I'm tired of looking it up, or I'm tired of typing it in. Can we fix it? And that's how this started. Was an actual AI would start to learn what we would write in those fields, and it would start to autofill in for us from there. And then I pushed the envelope a little harder and said, hey, we sometimes we have documents. Can we just upload them and they take off? And right now they have the ability to take a Word document for briefs and load them, and that helps as well. But we said, we don't do briefs. We're not in marketing. We need something better. And so we pushed the envelope, and we got something that's really awesome to show you here. So, and it's live in the AI today. So the fill in form uses prompts, previous information, and document upload. So every time you use the AI, it's learning. It's learning the fields, it's cataloging the fields, it's learning what data goes in the fields, it's learning what it's reading and how it's reading. So it's constantly learning from your data. We recently asked the question, well, how long does it take? And they said about a month of heavy use of the data, it'll start to learn uh, the information, but they had a hard time telling us an exact time. Then you have the option to approve or reject AI suggestion. And you can do this on a field level. So you can quickly peruse your fields, and we're going to show you because the AI is actually going to do a mistake purposely. We programmed it that way to show you. Um, the other nice thing is the fill-in will never overwrite the fields. So if you had to reload something because it didn't do it right, but you accepted a majority of the fields, it won't go in your data. So once the field is filled in, you're good to go. Or if you hand typed a few things in, but you wanted the fill in forms to do a lot of the lifting for you, but you knew a few other things that you could click real quick, it won't overwrite those. You do not get fill in suggestions for data that you don't have access to. So, as I talked about before, when you start typing in on a field, AI will start to suggest what should go in that field. But if you don't have access to, let's say, customer data, it won't fill in data from other areas within Workfront that it's learned. And then, as I said, you have to have at least 1 month of data in order for it to start making suggestions.
And Scott, before you keep going, Heather
Yeah.
has her hand up.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Heather. Or did we answer your question? Because I saw you typed it too.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, okay. But we answered your question. It was from before? No. Okay. So, oh yeah. So that one I don't know the answer to because I haven't tried projects with different configurations under a program. So I apologize. I don't have an answer for you on that one. And then, Jillian, yes. So, okay, Minika answered that for you. Yeah, you can turn it on and off for users. Absolutely. Okay, so the fill-in form, it doesn't support all field types. So again, this is from Experience League. If you look up AI fill-in form, it will give you this information. But fill-in form on the left, it knows what it can fill those forms in. But on the right, unfortunately, it doesn't do so well with those those fields. And then for the document upload, which we're going to show you, it actually supports a lot of information. So fortunately that they got approval to go to ChatGPT 5 for the base. They were under 4, and under 4 it didn't work. But Adobe finally approved 5, which gave us so much more functionality. Before we could only do PDFs and Word before, but again, pushing the envelope, we have a lot more. Each file can be up to 100 megs, so that's a pretty good size. And then you can upload 50 pages, slides, or sheets at a time. They call it 50 files, but each page, slide, or sheet's a file in there. So it can do a lot. It can really go through a lot of data. Of course, now the more you load, the slower it's going to go, for sure. All right, so let's jump into fill in form. Let me get this ready here. Okay, so again, fill in form is only able to be used in the request queue at the moment. They are doing some things with planning, but we don't use planning, so I don't have a lot of experience on the planning side. But Workfront planning, there's going to be some very similar features that I'm going to show you here. So in the request, we have a process in which we receive requests from customers to quote certain products and things like that. And so we have this, it's our spare parts, our service department. Where'd it go? Uh-oh, hang on. We lost it.
Isn't it the service order code number?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry. I was looking for spare parts. Thanks. This is fairly new to us. So here's quite a lengthy long form. We have customer information, the RFQ information, PO, and then what are they asking for. So in a normal, or in one of the options that you have, you can start typing in the address. I don't think we have enough data in here. I can show you in a different form that we have data. But you start typing in the address and it will come through. Here in these little stars here allow you to do it by section. So let's say you only had customer information. You can go ahead and just do it by section. But we actually have a fill-in form in which we have all the data. So we're going to go ahead and do that real quick. So we're going to attach a customer request that came in. And then we're going to have AI do it. So AI right now is analyzing the form and saying, okay, yep, I can manage this form, no problem. And now we're going to apply it to the AI. So again, this is a fairly new form for us. So we don't have a lot of the knowledge, AI knowledge. So it's taking, the AI will take a few minutes, but as it's starting to learn the fields and how we align customer RFQs to the fields, this thing will start running a lot faster. So it'll just take us a minute. So right now it's going through and matching field by field. So what we have in our custom form and what the PDF document has. So it's trying to match all these forms and it's looking at it based on the names and trying to compare it. And as we start to, in essence, discipline AI or praise AI, it will start to get it to work better and better. And when we did this, we realized that we had to change a field name too, because it was confusing on the field name based on what we called it and what the customer called it. So we just made a minor text change in the field name and then it got it right away. And it was pretty impressive when we first did this. It did it on the first try for us. So we were pretty impressed with how it worked. Now, everything in the shaded areas is what AI did. So as you can see, we got the customer name, address, it did pretty well. It got all this information. Here's their RFQ number. It's in RFQ status, the version, the bid due date. So it read all this from the document. And it also learned, I was going to show you how you can reject a field, but it just learned how, because I rejected it last time, it learned that, hey, if I see this again, don't fill it in. So it's already learned that. So it didn't fill these in. When I was prepping for this session, it had filled these in. So let's take a look real quick at what that form looked like, because it's pretty impressive what it did. Oh, come on. All right, doesn't want to drag over here. Oh, there it goes. Oh, I'm sharing window. So this is what the form looks like when it comes in. So you can see there's data just all over the place on this RFQ, and then there's pages and pages of additional information that come in. And so the AI, if we just kind of put it off to the side here, you found the customer name, it found the issue date. Let's close that. So here's the bid due date. It found that. Here's the bid due date. So it did very well in analyzing this form and filling in the fields. And what we even found impressive, that it captured all this data here under a description of the item. And when we look at the customer request, it was done in a format similar to this. And then it also had our information down below, and it actually understood that and filled it all in accordingly. So for us, we say, yep, it's good, and we accept it all, and the request is done. So that's how you do it with an upload. Let me show you real quick.
Hey, Scott, can I ask you a question before you move on?
Yeah.
Do you, in your forms, ever have any fields that have a different label than their name? And if so, have you noticed anything wonky when people are trying to match it?
Yeah, we do, because sometimes we get these requests just via an email. And so we did some testing with email, and it did pretty well. I got most of it right.
Okay.
And then other customers, that form there is from your most common customer. But we get from other customers, and their formats are different, and it will take, maybe an RFQ number. It won't look quite right. And so we have to go look at it. But that's what allows you with those fields to be able to kind of skim through. But we've had granted, this is new, but we've had a pretty high success rate in our testing with this process.
Nice. That's exciting.
Yeah, it is. They've done a lot of work, because before it would only get like 80% of it right. Or I think we were even as low as 40% on some tests. And now I think other than you pick something up that I don't need and exit out, but so far, and Matt is doing a lot of the testing. Matt can speak up if I say this wrong, but so far it hasn't really mixed up fields too bad at this point. So the other thing I'm going to show you, so this, I wanted to show you the fill-in feature. And so our logistics department is in Workfront as well. So we do all of our shipping here through here. So when we start looking into or start opening the form, it already kind of knows, who I am. And so
your PDF.
it's starting to fill in everything within the form. Now, I could just choose this, and it's going to auto fill in because it kind of knew
Scott.
already.
Scott, it's still showing the fire systems form.
I don't want to show that. It's supposed to show the screen.
And then I know we just have a few minutes left, technically, until 45.
Okay, yeah, this is my last thing here. If I can get it to work. Okay. All right, so let me close that and start over. So we go to a new request, and we have this shipping form. So whenever anyone wants to ship anything out of our building, so to ship from, I can type my name in, but it's already has saved info. So I can just click it. It's going to fill it in. I have the option to exit out if I want. And then down here, I'll use a demo guy that we use all the time. Oh, of course, it's not going to work today. I know why. Hang on. I'm in the sandbox, that's why. All right. Whoops. So you see the stars starting to pop up as I was typing. So it's going to start to fill in the information it knows. Now I must have used a different contact at some point or a different address, or the fact that I haven't been in here in a while, to fill in the fields. Now, if I also went into here and did it, it should also find its address as well. So it starts to learn your behaviors, and I haven't been in here in a while. So it might have forgotten some of, or the other behaviors have changed because I've been doing a testing in other areas. Okay, so it picked up some more information just simply by doing that. And now we can remove fields. So let's say, oh, no, that doesn't look like an address. I can get rid of that field and move through the form very quickly. And then I can accept everything that AI has done and continue filling in the form, or I can upload. Let's say I had this guy's address hanging out somewhere. I could just go grab it, go into the section here and put it in, or I can go into the fill in form and do the same, and it will figure that part out as well. So again, it starts to learn as you use it more and more and more, and you continue to use it. This has really helped out a lot of our folks in shipping because they don't have to keep typing the address if they're shipping to the same customer or shipping request to the same customer. And then even down in the material, if they're shipping the same material, it's even at times picked up the same notes. So once the customer information fills in, it'll pick up the notes. You can just delete the notes or reject the notes within there as well. So a great feature that it's starting to learn as well. The question to set up the auto form. So yeah, that was back in setup. You have to do the AI fill in form. So the fill in form is the upload as well as the autofill, but autofill only works in requests at this time. All right. So I think that is the end. Oh, the only last thing I had, just so we capture it in the recording, is just the Experience League. So let me just scroll to that so we capture that. So here's the Experience League links. So if you wanted to go do a little bit more reading and understanding of how it works and the setups, you can go to these Experience League links to find a little bit more information in the documentation.
Scott?
All right, any other questions?
All right.
All right, hearing none. I appreciate everyone's time and the great attendance. We're excited about that. So we hope to see you at future events. So Lexi, we have one coming up, right?
Yes, May 13th. We need to publish it, but yes, May 13th, the Michigan chapter is going to be hosting their next event.
All right, yeah, so watch for it. We'll publish it. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone.